Audiobook excerpt from You're Welcome by Dave O'Connell, read by the author. Enlistment.
Mid-afternoon on a hot June day in 1966, I emerged from an alcoholic blackout to find myself walking north on Lower Broadway in Manhattan. This was not a first, so I did not break stride as I checked the time, patted my wallet, and made sure I was still carrying the travel bag I had left home with that morning. Everything was in place, and there were no visible bruises. Once that was determined, the thoughts came flooding back about the mess I was in. I was only 19, but life seemed to be collapsing around me, again. I did not need a transcript to know that I had flunked out of college. My attempt to run away to sea had hit a reversal that morning. Having lost my student draft deferment, I knew I was unemployable. North of City Hall, I came on a recruiting station. I thought, this'll solve it. The Marines had an office at the front door where a recruiting sergeant stood in summer dress uniform. All starch and creases and not a visible drop of sweat. Things aren't that bad, I thought, and went past him to the Army office on the floor below. I had started digging this hole the previous fall. In September, I had transferred to the theater department at Hofstra University, near home, for my sophomore year. I was cast in a major role in the first production and did well. However, by early November, I was feeling overwhelmed. The booze was taking over, and I knew I could not make the whole 4 years. I let go of the rope. I knew I could coast until June, but had no idea beyond that. Around Christmas, someone suggested going to sea as a summer job. A friend who worked for United States Lines provided the necessary letter saying that they would accept me if I were sent by the Union. My father guided the process of getting Coast Guard papers and probably provided the Union initiation fee. This took months, and I increasingly knew that it was an escape rather than a summer job. Back at Hofstra, having stopped attending classes, I was free to work on any theater project I chose. Student directors and faculty knew I was available for any chore: acting, designing sets, building sets, sound, lighting, you name it. If you needed something done and could not find me in the theater building, you could find me in the Runway Bar just off campus. All my parents saw was me going out early and coming back late. I was having a grand old time, even though I knew it would end in June. One of the things I did not know was that each of these chores earned me points towards membership in Alpha Psi Omega, the National Theater Honor Fraternity. I set the record of being the first Hofstra student to accumulate enough points for membership in a single year. I went through the initiation in early June. Days later, I officially flunked out of school. I spent my days at the National Maritime Union hiring hall on 7th Avenue and 13th Street, trying to get on a ship. The hiring boss stood on a platform in front of a large display. When he announced an opening, men would put their cards at his feet, and he would select the most senior. There were 4 levels of seniority. 1, multiple voyages on United States vessels. 2, 1 voyage on a United States vessel. 3, foreign experience. 4, no experience. Me. The man in charge would first call for number 1 cards and work his way down. It took a week before I was even able to put up my number 4 card. The opening was for an engine wiper on a produce boat going to Guatemala in the summer heat, and I was beat out. That was enough frustration to send me out looking for a drink. And here I was, 5 hours later, in the recruiting office. In the space of 2 weeks, I had been inducted into an honor fraternity, thrown out of school, and, still roaring drunk, was about to dragoon myself into the Army. None of this interested the recruiter. A live one had dropped into his lap, and he just needed to close the deal and reduce that month's quota by 1. That year, the military drafted its highest number during the Vietnam War, almost 400,000. It didn't matter if you were drunk, crazy, stupid, or lazy. Anything on 2 feet would do.